So we pull into this trailer park. He's like, hey, I own those 2 units. I was like, dude, I don't care. I was like, can we go play golf? Yeah. I was like, yeah. He's like, no. He's like, I'm telling you. He's like, I own those. He's like, we bought them at an auction. He's like, for 10 grand. He's like, they're probably worth 40 or 50 now. He's like, I'm going to keep holding them. He's like, that's what you need to do.
It's okay to start from the bottom and like work your way up. And I feel like a lot of people these days just want it to be handed to them. I actually see it. I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
Like, they do want everything handed to them.
My big thing is like, you just can't get complacent. The minute you get complacent is the minute you're just done.
On this episode of the Wealthy Business Podcast, I have Monty Kaser on. Monty's the COO of Homerun Offer. We talk about all things from, how to start from the bottom of an organization and work your way all the way to the top. We talk, we talk about golf, talk about fitness, also talk about what it's like dating another entrepreneur. So it's a great episode. I'm super excited. Think you guys are gonna get a ton of value, and let's get into it. Right off the bat, how did you get to where you're at today?
It's a good question. So basically just background, I worked for my parents for a long time, pool tile distribution company out in Vegas. So I worked in the warehouse. That was like my first intro to sales, dealing with people, just like, hard labor work. Then when I turned 19, I started again. I was like, well, I don't really want to do this anymore. Working for your parents kind of sucks. I was in school at the time. And then I worked I got a lifeguarding job on the strip.
Nice.
At a day club. I was like, yo, this is what I'm doing.
Which day club?
It was at Palms when it was Ditch Friday still, if anybody knows. It's not as cool as Encore Beach Club is now. But so yeah, I worked there until I turned 21, kind of worked my way up to, I was from lifeguard to busser to bar back, and then kind of just bounced around some day clubs, nightclubs in the nightlife industry as a bar back. And then 2017, I got my real estate license kind of as like insurance policy, I guess. So it was just something to do like in the off season, I guess, when I was working at the club. My dad had some rentals. So I was like, hey, I'm going to get my license, sell my dad's rentals for him. That didn't happen. So kind of learned the hard way that wasn't going to happen. Then I actually went to high school at Landon from the Boakley brothers. So I put my license there. And that was like my first intro to acquisitions, like, kind of like, house flipping and, just that side of like, real estate. Cause when you get your real estate license, it's all like tunnel vision where it's like, you have to wear a suit and tie, a name tag, go prospect for listings for buyers. And like, this was a complete 360 from what they taught you in the class. So yeah, it took me like 9 months to get my first deal.
What kind of deal was it?
It was just a wholesale. Yeah. So
do you remember how much you made?
I think it was like 10 grand, something like that. Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah. And that's what's so funny. Cause like, when you have that mindset of a realtor, it's like, oh, I need to get listings and, I need to prospect for buyers. It's like, well, you could go the opposite route. This same $300K house you're fighting for to make a $9,000 commission, like you make 20, 30 grand. So it's like, why even try to be a realtor? So then once I got introduced to that, I was like, man, I don't have to deal with repair requests, another agent trying to yell at me for something stupid that I didn't even do, broker fees. I was like, dang, I could just go A to B and collect a fee and never buy the house. I was like, dude, done deal. Yeah. And so then, I did acquisitions for Landon for like 2017, 2018. And obviously Nick, they opened the brokerage at Forever Home. Moved my license, and then kind of got linked up with Ryan. Then I sold him two of my dad's deals actually. And then, kind of just never looked back.
Nice.
Yeah.
So going from a wholesaler working for yourself, then now working for somebody and doing acquisitions for someone else, what was that like?
Honestly, it's a lot easier because, like working with Ryan, the structure, like the infrastructure is already there. So it wasn't like, it's not my money that we're using, So I was like, it was so much nicer to like, have someone have the infrastructure, and then I could just kind of piggyback off that, like I said, like you said earlier, like, I started as in 2019. Ryan offered me a job like 6 different times, kept turning him down because I was like, I'm going to be my own boss. Like, I'm going to do this, and that. And he's like, just come meet with me. I'm like, all right, bro, I'll come meet with you. Fine. We sat down. He's like, all right, write a number down on the piece of paper that you want to make. So I wrote down 100 grand. I was like, yo, that's what I want to make. Cause back, that was 5 years ago. I was like, that's killing it.
Yeah.
And he was like, all right. He's like, how much do you think you're gonna spend on marketing? I like wrote down a number. He's like, dude, I'm gonna spend like 3 times what you're spending. He's like, you might as well just like come work for me. I'm like, fuck it. All right, let's do it. I was like, let's do it. All right, cool. And then, I never looked back. So that was a leads manager, dispositions of marketing I did for a few years, and now COO as of like basically February. So it's been an interesting ride,
That's awesome.
To say the least.
So what was it like? Because I bet you a lot of people are curious, working for Ryan in the early years before when he only had one business, when real estate was the only thing. Like, so walk me through the first like 90 days that you were there.
Okay, so like I said, I started as a they offered me a job as lead manager, which is, everyone knows what that is. Like, you're at the bottom of the barrel. You're hitting like the worst of the worst leads. I was working like, we had night shifts at the time.
Oh, wow.
I was working like the 5 to, or no, it was like 2 to 8 p.m.
Yep.
So I was like, that was like on the worst schedule. I was like, dude, the worst of the worst. And I was like, all right, if I just grind this out, I see the vision. I was like, I'll be all right. But yeah, so when I first started, it was before Ryan that we know now. So he was like very, very, very involved. Like, he was checking metrics. Like, dude, he would hold the sales meetings. He'd roast people. He'd call everybody out. Because we had a metrics board, and it was like your talk time, your dials, how many leads, and he'd just go down the line. Like, you suck. You got to pick it up. Like, this is horrible. And they're just like, man, what did I get myself into? I was like, I wasn't expecting this, you know? And then, but after that, like, when he obviously linked up with people at CG and was like, hey, the only way you're going to scale is if you step away. Because he was so used to, at the time, going on appointments, and he was still extremely involved in the business. And like, watching him transition, I remember when he came back, he started like, we all took the PI test. Gary came in and was like, you need to restructure this, put people in different seats. And then like, when that happened, I remember he came in the office one day and he was like, everyone's just doing their own thing, grinding, or setting appointments. And he kind of just looked around. He's like, guess I'm going to go home. Like, he just looked like the saddest guy ever. I was like, poor guy. But yeah, something all worked out, obviously.
Oh,
but
yeah. Yeah, but that's good. And like, that's a good business lesson for a lot of people too. Because it's like, as the visionary or as like the CEO, like, you have to be able to just focus on like the 20% of things that are like only you can do, and then duplicate everything else out. And obviously, like Ryan said it before on stage and other places too, where it's like the appointments were the last thing that he'd let go of, because that was like what he was the best at. Like, the first thing he did, hired a TC, then hired other people, then eventually hired the sales team. But like, appointments, like, were you still around when he was going on appointments?
Yeah. So like, that's like when we first. So like, I should have prefaced a little bit better, but so yeah, I came in 2020s when he went to CG, and it was like, they met Doug and Darren, and they were like, hey, you need to be going to appointments. Like, you're on the TV commercial. Like, they need to see your face. Like, you need to be going. So he was like, all right, everyone, we're dressing nice now. I'm being on TV. Like, you got to wear a suit to work, kind of thing. I was like, all right, whatever. And he was like, yeah, he would like come dressed up and go on these appointments. And I think he finally realized after like how good of a closer he was. He's like, I can't scale this unless I teach someone else how to do this. Because he's like, I can't go on appointments anymore. It's just it's not feasible. Yeah. And so like, once, because like, we implemented TV commercials in 2020, and like, it was his face and him going on appointments, and like, we didn't see like a return for 3 months. But once that 3-month mark hit, it was like, dude, it was on. Like, he was like, I can't do this by myself anymore. So we brought Stevenson on, and like, ever since then, he's been basically our appointment guy.
Nice. And one thing that's like pretty notable about HRO versus a lot of other like real estate investment companies is the fact that the people who are here stay a long time. Yeah. Like, so Stevenson, he's been here since what, 2019?
He got hired like 2 months after I got hired.
So like, was that 3 years?
Yeah.
4 years?
Early 2022. Yeah. Going on his 4th year.
Yeah. So you've been here for 3-4 years. He's been here for 3-4 years. Our 2 other salespeople, like Kayla's been here for how long?
She was an intern, started in 2021. Still here. Michael Smith has been here since like 18.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
I just think it's the culture we've built, to be honest with you. I was like, like, obviously everyone makes pretty good money here too, so it's always good. It's helpful. Like, it's a good environment. You come in, it's like, you basically know where you stand with everybody. It's like, not, people aren't hounding down your throat. You do your job, you do it well, and nobody's gonna mess with you. So, I mean, like, going back to like metrics and holding people to standards, like, even with me now taking over, it's like, we don't really have like, I don't hound people on dial times or talk times. It's like, you each get 2 contracts a week. That's bare minimum. That's your metric. But in the same time, it's like, it comes back and it's like, if you didn't get that, we can look back and be like, well, you made 50 dials instead of 100 a day. So it's like, it gives and takes, I guess. But,
I gotcha. That makes sense. So now fast forward, COO seat. How was that transition going from like managing a team of people who you were at one point kind of like even with, or you were just colleagues, to now like you're their leader? How was that?
Yeah, it was fast, to say the least. It was kind of like a blink overnight. But yeah, it was obviously awkward at first, because you've worked for the same people for 3+ years now. Basically, I still say it now. Like, they try to call me boss. I'm like, dude, please don't. Yeah, do that. Like, that's weird. But it's like, yeah, it was extremely awkward at first, because I was like, right now I'm like holding meetings and be like, I'm the face now. It's like, trying to delegate, or like basically taking on the sales manager role as well, and like getting on people. And it's like, well, this fucking guy was my line level employee 2 months ago. Like, now he's telling me what to do. So yeah. But I think ever since then, the transition's been a little bit smoother now. Like I said, I'm not the guy that's going to be down your throat. I'm not going to scream at you and yell at you, but I will ask you questions. Yeah. That'll make you think about what happened or what you did to, get the end result that you got. So yeah, it's it's been a wild, not a wild ride, but it's been different, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I'll definitely say in the last like 2 months, I've seen like, obviously over the entire time that you've been working in the COO role, there's been a lot of improvement, but over the last 2 months, like, yeah, I feel like you've gotten like way more comfortable in the role, and like you're hitting your stride, which is really, really good.
Yeah. I mean, most people that know me, I'm very introverted. Yeah. So it's hard for me to like get in front of people, like even like a team of like, even my peers that I've had for the last, it's awkward for me to still talk. Is like, I mean, I was obviously like when I was on stage at the old WealthCon too, but like the MVP day, like my brain just goes. So like when I talk super, super fast. It's like my brain is just like going. So like trying to hone that back in over the last few months has been like a learning curve to say the least, I guess.
Sure. Yeah. So you got some Louis V shoes on. Like when did you get into designer? Because I feel like moving to Vegas has made me buy like designer stuff. Like before that, I didn't have anything. Now I have like a Louis V wallet. I bought two watches.
I think it's the environment you're in around. I guess that's hanging out with us a little bit. But I don't know. Whoever, my wife will probably see this, and so my mom. Like I'm just bougie, I guess. Like I just like nice stuff. Yeah. Like I mean, I don't know.
Since like when did you buy your first like designer whatever?
High school, probably.
Really?
Yeah, dude. It was bad, man.
Do you remember what it was?
Ed Hardy, probably at the time. Ed Hardy was like the Louis Vuitton in 2008, Yeah. So yeah, I was rocking Ed Hardy, like full rhinestone shirts, rocking Republic jeans, like dude, it's 7 to Mankind, which is like crazy expensive for a 16-year-old to wear,
Where'd you get your money from? Don't worry about it.
Sorry, mom and dad, my parents.
Yeah, okay. That's what parents are for, man. Yeah. No, that's good. So actually, talk to me about that. So like, what does your dad do?
He's retired now, but he started. He played professional golf a little while when he was younger. My grandpa was on the PGA Tour, so he like kind of followed in the footsteps. And me being the smart person I am, was like, I want to play baseball, not golf. But but yeah. So my dad, he's been retired for quite some time now, but he was the vice president of the pool tile company that my grandma owned.
Oh wow!
So he ran that for quite some time. She sold in like late 2012, and so he's kind of just been, he manages like, but which is smart about what her husband did at the time is he bought all the buildings they leased from. So my dad was kind of just managing that throughout the time. Yeah, so he has a few rental properties still, a few commercial buildings, so kind of hangs out.
Nice. Yeah. So that was probably a pretty easy transition then for you to get into real estate.
Yeah, and that was kind of like my first step because like I said, at the time when I was getting my license, he had a portfolio of like, 20 properties in the Scottsdale area, and I was like I said, I was like, I'll get my real estate license, not knowing what it was, being naive. And I was like, I'll just sell these properties for him. Like I said, it didn't happen. But that was my first intro. He'd always tell me too. I remember we were going to play golf one day over on the east side of Vegas. He's like, I want to show you something. I was probably like 20. I was like, where the fuck are we going? I was like, what are we doing? We're in the hood. He's like, no, look. He's like, so we pull into this trailer park. He's like, and we told Porn, he's like, hey, I own those 2 units, or I own those 2 mobile homes. I was like, dude, cool. I don't care. I was like, can we go play golf? Yeah. I was like, yeah. I was like, what are you trying to tell me? He's like, no. He's like, I'm telling you. He's like, I own those. He's like, we bought them at an auction. He's like, for 10 grand. He's like, they're probably worth 40 or 50 now. He's like, I'm going to keep holding them. He's like, that's what you need to do. And I'm like, no. I was like, I don't think so. I was like, I'm working at the nightclub. I'm just fine. But yeah. So, but like looking back now, like I should have taken it more seriously. But that was kind of like the first like step in the door.
Got you. But you have a couple properties now, right?
Yeah.
How many?
I just have one right now. I just sold one like 2 months ago. Because, passive income is great and all, but, it doesn't really pay the bills for the most part. And, it's kind of time consuming when you're making, $150 a month cash flow. Yeah. Like my dishwasher went out, one of my rentals, the AC went out. So like I lost my cash flow for the whole year. Had some equity in the property. I talked to Cassidy and I was like, hey, let's just sell this and buy something else. Or, we could just flip a house. So like, I was like, because we're not getting a return right now. It's just more annoying than it is,
And you're sitting on this cash. You might as well pull it out, do whatever you want to do with it. And so what are you going to do with it? Do you know?
We'll probably just buy another house, to be honest with you. Once interest rates come down, because we ended up moving into one of our rentals, like completely redid the whole thing. But I've been eyeing this house down the street. So we're going to see, hopefully interest rates come down a little bit. I can pick it up.
Yeah. So speaking of Cass, like my girl also does hair and she has a salon and what's it like dating another person who's pretty entrepreneurial?
Honestly, man, like I tell people all the time, Cassidy is like, dude, she's the best. She's so independent. Like, dude, she's so self-driven. Like, dude, she runs circles around me. Like, she's working 6 days a week, coming home to clients complaining to her, just like, making her upset. Said something to her. I'm just like, I got up at 5 today, came home, went to the gym. She's like, I worked 12 hours. But yeah, it's honestly like, I'm so envious of her because like, dude, she works so hard.
Yeah.
And she grinds. Like, dude, I remember I watched her. Like she was in college at the time. It was frustrating because obviously for background, we've been together for 15 years. So we went through high school together, college, and like I could just tell like she just wasn't just like some school just isn't for everyone. You know, it wasn't for her. She was like, you know, I think I want to do this hair school thing. I was like, dude, do it. Like, what if you fail, so what? You're 21. Like, let's figure it out.
Yeah.
So she ended up going to Paul Mitchell, paid like $20,000 to go to school, and she just fell in love with it.
Nice.
Like I could see her like perk back up. She just liked doing hair. It was like something she really enjoyed. And like, yeah, man, she crushes it. She's got 3 rooms at Sola. She has three or 4 girls working under her now. So it's like, dude, she's literally the best.
For context, people make bank doing hair in Vegas.
Dude, I am in the wrong business.
Yeah. Sam comes home and she's like, yeah, like this girl paid like $2,000 for her extensions and everything, and like I made like $1,000 on the transaction. Like I'm like, what?
Like must be nice.
I know, like yeah, because I mean, I guess extensions are where the money's at. I don't know a whole lot, but like I know that like she's selling it for like 50% margin, and then she's also selling the service. And anyway, I think I might start an extension.
Extension company. Yeah, start selling some hair.
Yeah, and then like schedule wise, does she like, are you guys opposites, or because I know she works Saturdays, that's when we go play golf.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So she her schedule does fluctuate. Like Sunday's usually her like big day off. Yeah. Sometimes Friday, but Friday night we try to like do something at least, or Sunday hang out all day. But yeah, she's usually, like I said, man, dude, she works 6 days a week, 12-hour days.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't know how she does it.
She bought you the watch too, right?
She did. Yeah. That was my wedding gift.
That dude.
Yeah.
It's a nice wedding gift.
Can't be mad about it.
Wives, go buy your husband a Rolex or your fiance. Yeah. But yeah, dude. So like, what do you think your goals are going to be like, in the next, like we can do personal and then also for the company, like through the end of the year? Like, what are you trying to do with the company?
Yeah, obviously. So it's like I said, it's been kind of a roller coaster. I mean, Ryan talks about it quite a bit. I had some bad deals last year, but you know, this is honestly like I haven't told many that like I'm pretty quiet on social media about how we do. Like I just rather, you know, succeed in silence. But you know, we are in 2023, so you gotta start posting some stuff. But yeah, Homerun offer like the goal this year is just basically to do 3.5 in revenue.
Okay.
We're on a limited budget. We're not spending 120,000 like we used to. We're on max 50K. We're about to have our best month in the last year. This month should do about 415,000 in revenue.
There we go.
So that's kind of the up and up from here on out. Just do 500K a month in revenue, and just with the same budget we have, same team we have, and just, you know, keep it light. Because like you said, our team's pretty small for the most part. Like we have me, I still handle Dispo marketing. We're moving Kayla to Dispo. Michael's an ISA, so team of 6 or 7 is still pumping out that many deals.
Yeah, no, that's impressive. And one thing I will say that you brought up too is you've achieved the same level of revenue that we were doing last year on like half the budget,
like a third
of the budget. How do you think you're able to do that?
I don't know, man. To be honest with you, we just don't. We monetize every lead, so it's like I don't want to give out too many secrets, but it's like if we're going on an appointment, we should be locking up at bare minimum a listing, because if someone's showing interest, we're going to lock it up either, you know, novation, wholesale, fix and flip, wholesale, at the very least listing. So we try to monetize every lead. Our TV leads have been like killer lately. So we like obviously, you know, those convert, those are the highest, and we just tweaked PPC too. So we were having some issues at first. I don't really know what was going on, but so we just tweaked PPC like about a month and a half ago, and it just like overnight just started pumping out leads again. I wouldn't say leadership too, because I don't know. I wouldn't say it's really me. It's just I just don't really take no for an answer. I just think as long as you show up and like you put the time in, like you're gonna produce at some point. And Vegas is extremely competitive. Like it's like, you know, you have 3,800 active homes on the MLS. Like you get around the whole city in 25 minutes. It's a different beast out here. So it's like, and like I said, I maybe knowledge too. Like I've been around. I mean, 2017 is not that long, but I feel like I have a pretty good grasp of the market. Yeah. Like I said, I run comps in 2 minutes. So yeah. And the team too. I mean, the team's awesome. Like you said, we don't have a high turnover rate. Everyone knows their job, knows what they need to do, knows how to execute, and we just keep going. Yeah.
So now that we're like, and it seems like we're scaling a tiny bit, you know, we're adding at least one more salesperson who starts next week. We're probably going to bring on one more. So we talked about, got a sales manager now. So what's it been like trying to kind of get out of the day-to-day a little bit? I know you're pretty involved now.
So
what's it like letting go?
It's tough. It's extremely hard because I'm a legit lunatic when it comes to having to be involved in everything. So it's like, even prior to COO, I felt like we had employees like coming to me, asking me questions like, "Oh, what's going on?" I'm like, "Dude, like I'm just the marketing guy. Like I just sell the deals here, but I can help you." But yeah, that's been the hardest part to delegate, because like I feel like it's almost like because like you're so involved and like you feel like you need to know what's going on, but like that takes away from like, you know, money making activities. If I need to like be reviewing every deal or like, you know, looking at every contract or every deal that comes through or being on escrow emails, but it's like me just being a psycho. Like I'm like, I need to see just visually, I need to see what's going on. But like, yeah, so that's the last month. Like I said, we brought in a new TC and Jamie's been great. Like she's like, I've told her, I'm like, hey, you can do this, and this, take it off my plate. Like, and she's been great, even like with agent relations, you know, with title, and like, dude, she's just like taking the role on and just ran with it, which is great, which takes off a lot of my plate. So yeah, it's been different. It's been a lot different. But
yeah, and one thing you mentioned too, and which made it easy to put you in the COO seat was like when we were like trying to decide and like everything else, you know, when we were going through transition back in February, we were like, well, Monty's already doing it.
Yeah.
So
I would say I was doing it. I was helping for sure.
Yeah. Well, I guess a better way to put it is you had a great grasp on what needed to get done. And you've been around for so long. You've been in every seat. Yeah. And which I think overall is just like a good lesson for people who are like starting out in a role. Like it's like, dude, do more than what's asked of you, number one. And number two, like, it's okay to start from the bottom and like work your way up. And I feel like a lot of people these days just want it to be handed to them, unfortunately. Like I know people, like old people are always like, oh, the millennials, like they want everything handed out to them. The Gen Z always want everything handed out to them. And as somebody who's like a younger millennial, like I actually see it. I'm like, dang, like, they do want everything handed to them a lot more than like previous generations or just people in general. Like it's so interesting. Yeah. And I think that's easy for the people who are hustlers in this generation though, because the competition's way less fierce. Like if you're a hustler, like you will succeed because there's so many people who are soft these days.
Exactly too. And I think that like, and that's my success, but I think it has been nice, like sitting in basically every seat. Yeah. Cause like I was like, all right, dude, like I don't want to be a sales guy, but I was like, all right, I'll sit here and like tough it out and just hopefully try to move up. Hopefully they notice I work hard. That's what it was like. You know, I picked up the Saturday shifts and nobody wanted to do. It was like, you know, I worked the 2 to 8 p.m. And I was like, this is going to suck. But I was like, just think of the long-term play. And it was like, boom, okay, I did sales. I got a grasp of what the sales job is. Like, I know like what the day-to-day is. And boom, okay, marketing dispositions. I mastered that, knew exactly how to do that. Even like I was doing TC for like a little bit of 2021 before we hired Nilsa. Yeah. Like I was like, all right, I know how to do paperwork. I know how to talk to title. I'm like, all right, perfect. And then getting the COO seat, you're like, okay, I knew all this stuff, but now I have to manage the people doing this stuff. So that was like the hard part is like, you know, too, it's like, obviously you probably know way more than me because you look over all the companies, but like personalities. Oh, dude. You know, like big people, some people have big personalities, or it's like you get pushback and it's like, you can't just yell at someone because you're like, all right, now you're the only person to answer to. Like, I have to like take a deep breath and be like, okay, how did this make you feel? Like, how do we solve the problem? I can't just like yell at anybody. So that was hard too, because I like usually like I would just do stuff or fix it. And now I'm like, okay, I have to explain it, teach someone. I can't just be like, move aside, I'll do it. Because that was the problem I did before, even like with when I was still doing dispo marketing. Like if someone had a question about like the TC stuff or escrow stuff, I'd like, just move, I'll just do it. Yeah. And so now I'm like slowly explaining like, all right, this is how you do the job. This is like, I remember like I was on vacation like 2 weeks ago with my family. Like I was in the airport making lucid charts. So I was like, okay, just so it's easier for everyone to see. So I'm not explaining on a meeting. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna make lucid charts and just do all these arrows. So it's very crystal clear. So yeah.
Like two things. Number one, like I was that way too. Like I would have to be involved. I'm like, dude, be involved. I'm like, dude, okay, dude, just let me do it. Like I'll go do the thing, whatever. But you're not going to have a good business if you keep doing that. Like you have to be able to step away. So same thing, man. Like I do, like I'll create SOPs, I'll create everything. And then when someone comes to me and is like, oh, how do you do this? I'm like, did you look at the SOP? Look at
the Google Drive, bro. It's in there. I promise you.
Go look first before you ask me. I'm obviously much nicer than that. But yeah, and another thing too is like people think that the COO role or just leadership in general is about like operations and like building stuff and whatever, but it's all people management. It's all just dealing with personalities and like what like buttons do you have to push, or how do you motivate people to make them all want to come in, do the job. Like that's for sure the biggest part of my day, and like the hardest in my eyes is just dealing with people. Exactly.
And everyone's different too. Yeah. And like that's one thing I learned working with Keith the last few months. He's like, bro, like you gotta chill. Like he's like, you can't just like not everyone gets not everyone thinks how you think. So it's like you have to like, okay, some person needs praise. Some person just needs to know they're doing a good job, or like that text, or someone like you need to be very direct, because if you're beating around the bush, they don't understand. So that learning curve of like I thought like I knew the people I worked with, like getting to this role, it's like you really like get to understand like how they operate, how their mind thinks. It's like I said, one person, like you can just be like, all right, you screwed up, fix it, boom, and then you're done. Then some people be like, hey, you've done a great job, but you can do a little better here. And like just however you have to word it. So like that was super hard for me at first. Yeah. Like I'm very direct. Like all you gotta do is tell me like, boom, like I don't know if that's just working with Ryan for the last 3.5 years.
I think it's Ryan. Also, people who have a sports background typically have like some element of that too, or even military. But it's like you whenever it's easy to take. I can take criticism very, very easily. It's like,
same.
Hey, like you did this poorly. Like, okay, this is how we get better.
Just tell me how to fix it.
Yeah, exactly. And same thing. Like when I would have to adjust my delivery based on who I was talking to and like how I just frame things for sure. Like it's hard, but yeah, Keith's been great. Shout out Keith.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I really do enjoy talking to him, because he's like, we were talking yesterday and he was like, dude, you've changed so much in the last like 2 months. I was like, really? He's like, dude, yes. I was like, all right.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Glad someone noticed it.
For context, Keith is one of our leadership coaches, and then he's also like affiliated with our Wealthy Business program. Go to wealthybusiness.com if you are curious about how to learn SOPs, business ops, how to hire, how to fire, scale your business. Good program.
No free ads.
Yeah, no free ads. Oh,
shoot. Water down.
But yeah, man, I think like you for sure have made a lot of adjustments over the last like 6 months, and I'm excited to see like where the next 6 months go and beyond. And so like personally, what goals, targets do you have?
I might do 75 hard again.
Yeah.
Kind of fell off
just
the wagon.
To feel something or what?
Diet has been the best lately, but yeah. It was nice when I did too, just like mentally and physically. It just gave me something to like do.
Yeah.
It was like I got something to look forward to. I'm like, all right, I gotta drink this stupid gallon of water. I gotta do this walk in the morning. I gotta work out again at nights. And it kept me busy. So like it was like, I wasn't at home just like watching TV. Like I had a book to read. So I'd probably do that again. Personally, I don't know. I would like to get another house at least a couple more like properties under the belt. But yeah, I mean, basically, this might be weird to say, but like I'm usually focused on work pretty heavy. Yeah. So Homerun Offer is like my main focus right now.
Yeah. I mean, well, if we do what we need to do at Homerun Offer, like I'm sure your personal goals will
just follow
for sure.
But yeah, I mean, like that's like business and personal life's kind of intertwined.
Talk to me about 75 hard,
dude. It was interesting.
What weight did you start at? What'd you end at?
So I started at 220, 30% body fat. And I finished at 204, 20% body fat.
Wow. That's pretty impressive in 3 months.
Yeah. And I did like, because obviously you had to read 10 pages in a book, which to me was like I don't read, I listen to podcasts and audiobooks. So I was like, dude, I'd read these stupid fucking books. Like this is going to suck, Yeah. And I was like, dude, that was the thing I enjoyed the most. Like I read like 5 or 6 books. Like, dude, I was just crushing them because I was like,
what was your favorite book at that time?
Patrick Bet-David's Your Next 5 Moves was like that was my best one. Like I read like Think and Grow Rich, it was a snooze fest. Kept putting me to sleep. I was just like, dude, this is so boring.
I mean, it was written in 1920.
Yeah, no, I was like, this is so boring. I was like fighting through it. I was like, just finish it so you can start the next book. And I'm on actually Ed Milet's book, The Power of One More right now. It's good. It's really nice. I actually enjoy that too. But yeah, the hardest part, dude, was the gallon of water.
Dude, I know.
It is insane how hard it is to drink a gallon of water. Like I would like bring my jug. And like, because you'd forget about it, because I'd come here during the day and like, just like, the day-to-day stuff.
Working,
you forget that it's there. And I'd get home and I'd be like, fuck, I have this whole gallon of water still to drink in 6 hours. So just like every like 5 minutes, I'll just take a swig. And like, then it'd be like 11:30 and I'd have like, this much left. And I'm just like, all right, I'm chugging. Like the first few weeks is hard because like, I'll just wake up and pee every hour in the middle of the night, but your body starts to get used to it. But yeah, it was actually really good, like mentally wise for me. Like, I was just like I felt so much more clear. Like, wasn't like, there was no brain fog. There was no like, I had no grogginess. It was just like, boom, 6 a.m. every day, walk. And it gave you a routine too.
Yeah. That's the one thing about like, cause I did 75 hard, I think a year or 2 ago. And like, yeah, the no drinking thing, like it wasn't necessarily like I didn't feel like that much more clear.
No,
but it was just like you have an extra day back. Like if you drink on Friday, then like you're hungover Saturday, and these days probably Sunday too.
Yep.
So like
once you got, I'm 32 now, so once you cross like the 28 to 29, like the 5-day hangovers are true.
Yeah, seriously.
Or exist.
Yeah, I mean. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like 2 weekends ago, I was hungover for like 2-3 days.
It happens.
But anyway, when I was on 75 hard, it was like really like it was just nice. Like it wasn't the lack of drinking; it was just getting the days back.
Yeah.
Because like for me personally, I felt like a little bit more clear, but I think it probably was credited more to like the amount of water that I was drinking. The diet too. The diet was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got pretty lean because it was actually coming off of COVID, so like I wasn't able to go to the gym at all. So like I probably put on like 10 pounds or so, and I was like, I need something to like
do something.
to do. And yeah, like I forget what my stats were, but yeah, I think I started at like 182, dropped to like 170 or so, 172, and then yeah, I was lean. I was feeling good. But
yeah, it's definitely. I think the food's a big part too. Like if I could do it all, because because obviously you have to pick a diet, so I did keto the whole time. Which looking back now, like yeah, that's probably why I lost the majority of my weight. But if you looked like, I think I started, like I said, 220, like, 30% body fat. And like, I think my muscle mass was like 70 or 80 pounds or 88 pounds. But like, I was hitting up like one of my trainers that I knew. I'm like, dude, because I do the InBody every week to check what I was doing. I was like, dude, my weight's going down, but I was like, my body fat percentage is going up. I was like, what's going on? He's like, well, are you doing keto? I'm like, dude, yeah. He's like, that's why. And so I was like, so if I go back now, like I noticed like the first month I was off, I started eating like, rice again. Like there's like clean diet still. And like, working out the same amount, and like, dude, my body percent dropped like 3% in a week, and my muscle mass went up like 9 pounds. Like it was crazy.
So no keto.
Yeah, no keto for me. No. yeah.
I mean, dude, keto is one of the most interesting diets I've like come across. I personally wouldn't do it because it's like you're literally eliminating like all the stuff that I think is valuable, and now you're just eating fat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I felt like. I felt like my meals, like it was like I don't really like eggs, so like that was like the main thing of keto. Like so I was like just crushing eggs in the morning, just like taking a bite and like drinking water with it just to get them down. Like, but
yeah, what would you do this time?
I would just do like just your basic like like because I finally, which I just found out, like my macros, like I was only eating like a third of the protein I needed to be eating too.
Yeah.
So like I would just do high protein, like low carb.
What are you doing? Like a pound and a half per, or a gram, gram and a half?
Gram and a half. Yeah. But I was only eating like 120 grams of protein a day.
Yeah.
And so now now I eat like I have 3 meals, like 4 protein shakes throughout the day just to make sure I hit like that, like 250, 260.
Yeah. See, that's my problem. I don't eat enough protein.
Yeah.
Like dude, I don't eat until like 11 most days, 11 or 12, like lunch. And it's like I don't even try to intermittent fast. I just kind of ended up doing it. But like I work out in the morning, I drink a protein shake and then like coffee, and then I wait until like lunchtime.
Yeah.
And that's what worked out for me. Like I wasn't even trying. Like I did the InBody scan, and I was like, dude, I was 9% body fat right now.
Solid.
And I'm like, all right, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Like, that's like the leanest I've been in like ever. So in an ideal situation, I'd drop to like 7. But then like that now I'm in like the peptides.
There you go. Yeah.
area.
Guinea pigs.
Yeah, just getting shredded.
Yeah, like that's my goal for like, I guess going back to personal goals, like the next like 6 months. Cause I'm 209, 20% body fat right now. So I'm trying to get down to 200, 15% body fat.
Yeah, that's
like a solid weight.
Yeah, that's solid. Cause how tall are you? You're like 6'2", 6'3"?
6 foot, 6'1".
Okay.
On a good day.
Oh, dang, man, maybe I'm just short. I'm 5'10", guys. But okay, talk to me about how you got so good at golf. Because we play almost every weekend, and
every Saturday. Shout out Spanish Trail.
Yeah, dude, best country club in Vegas. 27 holes.
They're
baby.
open.
Yeah, they're open.
They're open.
We rag on Ryan because both So High and Dragon Rage are closed right now, so he has to golf with the peasants. But it's good.
Hey, whatever.
we're still living the country club life. But yeah, so tell me about that,
dude. Honestly, so like I said, my whole life is like around golf. Grandpa played in the PGA Tour. He's got 1 win. I tied for 45 at the U.S. Open. And then my dad played mini tour stuff growing up. So I was always out hanging on the range with them, hitting balls. And like, as I got older, I was like, nobody cool plays golf. I was like, I gotta switch sports here. So I started playing baseball.
A few years too early.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like I started playing baseball, like seriously played in high school, played JUCO in college for like a semester, then moved back to Vegas. But like I always played golf in the background, like weekends, like buddies would want to go out. And like, I don't know. Like once I came back from California, I was like, my dad's like, you should just start playing more. Golf is like, that's how you meet people. It's how it's like, you can always play it. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, dad. Took some lessons and like, dude, like honestly, like 2017, I got like pretty good out of nowhere. I was like, oh man, I can actually play pretty decent here. Yeah. So my dad's like, you gotta come out here and play these money games with us, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, I don't want to do that. Like hang out with like your old buddies. Like, no way.
Yeah.
Come to find out, like these dudes were so fun to hang out with, playing the skins game, like just have a good time with them. So like I was like, and like, obviously fortunate enough, like done well enough here where we joined the country club last year. So and like it's been good. So.
Yeah. Golf's great. Golf's how I worked with Ryan. Like I and again, guys, I am trash. I'm like 100. I went to Joe today.
Nice.
Yeah.
How was
Figured
it?
out, it's great. Realized again that like all my swing thoughts were wrong, and everything that I was like focusing on is incorrect.
Yeah.
But like basically, like I just need to loosen up a lot more because like I'm athletic, and he's like, dude, just hit the ball, and like and I was like, okay, and then I don't know where I'm like hitting a 7-iron 200 yards. I'm like, heck yeah, that's great.
That's all it took.
Yeah, but like just for context, like Ryan was coming out for a speaking gig in San Diego. He wanted to golf Torrey Pines, and as a resident, you get priority access or whatever. Couldn't get on there anyway. But we went to another golf course, Madeiras, and I was just talking to him throughout the day. Like just we're spending 5 hours sitting right next to each other in the cart, and then we just got to talking about like what I was doing, whatever. And then he's like, dude, well, like I'm hiring, and I was like, all right, so
done deal.
Yeah, we made the handshake deal on Friday. He sent me a text message offer on Sunday, and then Monday I quit my job. Wednesday I'm working for him. So
I think we met the first time on the golf course too. We played in that scramble tournament together at Chimera.
Chimera,
I think that's the first time we met. Because he's like, hey, we're bringing on this guy. He's gonna run all the companies. Because that was like when we were first transitioning to like having like Pineda Company. That was like kind of under the umbrella. And I was like, I'm just happy I get to play golf.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, because I remember I saw you because I came to shadow everybody at like when I was just part of Wealthy Investor or Future Flipper. I came to the office to shadow people upstairs because like that's part of like the program. You can like do an office day or whatever. So I was like, I shadowed Michael Smith.
Oh, nice.
I think I talked to you like for like 2 seconds, but dude, you probably won't remember me.
Standard. I was probably like just had my head down or my feet kicked up at my desk.
Like, this guy's a dick. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, it wouldn't be the first time I heard that. So.
So it's just funny how how
it all works out.
But golf is by far like people talk about. Yeah, that's where deals get done, whatever. But it's actually
it really is.
It's very true. And the more I play, the more like I'm like you just get around the right people, the right circles, and you get to see how people manage stress.
Right.
Me very poorly. I just drink about it and then
swing juice.
Yep. And then. Yeah, it's definitely the rich man sport, and I strongly recommend anybody.
Country club.
Yeah.
Well, and you get to instinct the people you meet too. Like even if you suck, like I met some cool people. Even like during like the tie or like not the tie stuff, like the golf with Ryan.
The golf with Ryan.
Yeah, it's just like even that stuff. Like you just meet like cool. Half the guys can't play golf, but like even like the kids we played with like 2 weeks ago. Like this is like 24-year-old kid running like $1 billion like worth of accounts. So I was like, Jesus, bro.
Yeah, like those guys are killers.
Yeah.
Like it's a 28-year-old, 24-year-old hedge fund guys, and without giving too much away, their whole strategy is they're just like
the boutique.
Yeah, they're boutique, but it's a sales game. Mm-hmm. Like what they're doing is they're going to all these like older wealth managers who are like at the end of their career, and then they're just like, yo, I'll buy your book of business.
Yep.
And then they negotiate terms, whatever, and then they just adjust like whatever the strategy is to their investment strategy. And they crush it.
Yeah, they're super cool guys.
Yeah, if they're hiring, let me know.
Yeah.
Well, cool, dude. So we mentioned like a few books that you read. Like, what would you say like is your biggest, like your favorite entrepreneurship book that you ever read?
I mean, How to Win Friends and Influence People is like that's like the GOAT book of all time.
Yeah,
and that was actually
it did put you to sleep though.
No, that was a good. I was a good one. I've already read it, so I read it twice for 75 hard because it's been a while since I read it.
Yeah,
but I mean that's the go-to one. I mean, Patrick Bet-David's book is awesome too.
Yeah,
because I mean those are relatable guys too. It's just like younger guys, immigrant who came in who's like just built a company from the ground up. Was like, yo, I'm gonna do insurance, be the best, and did it. So
yeah, he crushes it. How to Win Friends and Influence People was like the first book I read when I was like 15, 16. Like that's what got me. I was actually probably 17, 18, but that's what got me into like entrepreneurship. I found that. I found Grant Cardone. Like and then
10X is always a good book, but it's what's crazy about How to Win Friends and Influence People is like it's written in like the 30s.
Yeah,
which is insane.
Yeah, I mean, and it just proves that like human nature is all like universal from like day one.
Yeah.
Like people have always been the same. You make people feel special, speak in their world, all that crap. But
Jocko's book's good too.
Jocko?
Yeah, the extreme ownership.
Oh yeah,
it's a really good book.
Yeah, I haven't read that one yet, but that was good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what's one piece of advice you would like you want people to know?
Just in general.
Yeah.
I actually said this in Chris Vasquez's video too, but my big thing is like you just can't get complacent.
Yep.
The minute you get complacent is the minute you're just done.
Mhm.
If you're not constantly pivoting, you know, and that kind of happened to us last year, is like we were cruising. Market shifted, got kind of exposed, you know, we're holding a lot of properties and like just didn't pivot at the right amount of time. And like, but come January, you know, we implemented new strategies and dude, we've just kind of taken off. Like it just changed the whole business, to be honest with you.
Yep.
It's like,
because of you?
No, not me. But yeah, like I was saying, like, yeah, if you don't pivot, because like, you know, we're all wholesale, flip. And now I'm in the boat where it's like, dude, if we don't have to ever flip a house again, like I'm down with it. Like we've been doing so well on the wholesale side, and the creative finance innovation side. It's like, there's no reason to buy these houses anymore. Do like full rehabs, go over budget. It's just been an absolute nightmare.
Ton of liability.
Yeah, a lot of liability, a lot of money out, a lot of money. Like those ACH payments hurt, man.
Yeah, dude.
Those aren't fun going out. You know.
Yeah, which is great too. But we did buy, right? I think what do we have?
We're on like 5 deals the last 30 days.
Yeah,
yeah.
If it makes sense, but we're a lot more conservative, right?
Yeah, a lot more conservative, under 400K, whole tails, paint, carpet, you know, countertops, in and out, under 15K, done deal.
Nice.
Gonna buy it all day.
Cool. Well, Monty, appreciate you. It's been great. And that's it. Peace.
Thanks for having me.